I, Augusta Ventures is a litigation financing house, and we provide funds to cover people's litigation costs. And over the years, we've been going probably 12 years, I suppose. And slowly, we have persuaded lawyers that we're not doing the work of the devil, and we're not ambulance chasers, and we do actually care for the claimants that we fund. But it has been a long, slow process because I don't know how many lawyers are in the audience today, but lawyers are very, very smart people. But generally, when you start speaking to them about finance, most of them don't really want to know, and certainly they don't like change. They if a client is prepared to pay their hourly rate, they're very happy to go forward on that basis. But it has been a gradual change, and I think that change has really been instigated by our friends at Burford, which people may or may not know, but it certainly brought the industry to the front pages of the financial press. As a result, CFOs are aware of litigation funding. CFOs go to their lawyers and say, tell me about litigation funding. Who should we use? Should we use? What terms should we use? How much should we pay for this facility? And as a result, the adoption of litigation financing has grown. 6 months ago, we had this dreadful virus, and things have changed dramatically. It was interesting to hear about Marion and how he sees things change. Well, I have always been a massive advocate of working in the office and not working at home. And I always had the, which has proved to be misguided, that the view that if people are working from home, then they're not working full days, and they may well be skiving. I think this has proved, the old dinosaur that I am, that I'm wrong. And we have seen some fantastic changes. And I think we are so much more productive now than we have ever been. And that obviously is because maybe, certainly for me, I don't have to do my hour and a half daily commute, which is great. I don't have to go off to a meeting and spend half an hour navigating the tube to get to Chancery Lane, have my traditional 1 hour meeting, and then spend another half an hour coming back to the office, and thereby using up 2 hours of the day. Instead, I get on a Zoom call, and Zoom calls tend to be a lot shorter, and you can get a lot more done in those 20, 25 minutes. So that is changing. But I would say after 3-4 months, you realize that you are missing the intimacy of working with your clients, your colleagues. It is very important. So I would be very keen if everyone decided to come back for a few days a week. We have instigate here, we do 2 days a week. We were going to 4 days a week, but then dear Mr. Johnson decided to dissuade people from doing that. So we work in the office 2 days a week, and we probably have 15 people coming in out of 50, I suppose. So it's not a huge amount, but you get a bit of turnover. And when you actually get the chance to talk to people face to face, you suddenly realize that that's important. And so, look, it's a learning curve. I don't think we'll ever go back to doing 5 days a week the way we have, which is positive. But it's a strange world we're living in. Standing back a bit and thinking more about our business, what we are seeing is that in the old days, litigation funder, we lend money on a non-recourse basis to cover legal costs. If the case loses, we lose all our money. If the case wins, we take a very modest, and a few people might argue with that, but we take a very modest share of any awards that are generated and collected, I should say. So I would say we are a risk management tool for claimants, and they can decide to take as much or as little risk off the table as they want. Now, what we're seeing, and I should say, and in the early days, this was very much the David and Goliath, the access to justice, which I actually passionately believe in, because unfortunately, if you don't have money, you can't pursue litigation, and therefore you can't pursue the litigation all the way to trial, which is tough. But what we're seeing now is it's the larger firms looking at us and realizing that we're a source of liquidity. So I spoke a couple of weeks ago to the CFO of a FTSE 100 company. They have got a large amount of cash on their balance sheet. In their words, they said they didn't want to waste their money funding litigation, and therefore they prefer to use someone else's money, because for them, cash is king. Now, who knows what's going to happen over the next 6, 12, 24 months, but everyone wants to hang on to their cash. So as far as I'm concerned, we are being seen as a separate source of non-recourse liquidity, which is quite interesting, I think. But then also what we're seeing, and again, I don't mean to trash lawyers the whole time, but they have a very interesting structure, in as much as they don't believe in keeping cash on their balance sheet. And therefore, if they're great customers who they've had relationships for years and years and years don't pay them, that's an issue. And because they are such great customers, and maybe they have corporate relationships in other parts of the firm, they don't feel that they want to pursue them in litigation to get their cash. So that's a big issue for them, and I think it's going to be a bigger issue. So again, we speak to the lawyers. Lawyers understand that if there is a big checkbook there waiting to fund their litigation, they will be paid at the end of every month, and they will have, we would argue, and this is maybe debatable, but they should have better relationships with their clients. I would also argue that they will get more business from their clients, because all of a sudden the clients can pursue claims without having to pay for it at all, or they can pursue claims that they think may have some slightly mixed merits, and if we decide that we're comfortable with that, then they can pursue cases that they may not ordinarily have followed. So I think that's me. And so unfortunately, in this day and age, I think there will be, unfortunately, more litigation, and unfortunately there will be more insolvencies, and therefore litigation funders will be more used, unfortunately.